Okay, roll 15.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Blunders on Bothwellians, the Wounded Witch edition. This is the Tuesday Party, episode 59. Previously, before we started this session today, collectively the group had to choose a number between 12 and 316, I think, to decide what monster they may potentially be facing today. As a collective, they chose, well, I'll let you have a few guesses. They're called Cardinal Eclipse, and they are mad. Yes, they chose 69. So I've made some tweaks. It's not exactly what you'll find in a monster manual. Obviously, it's me. But, you know, this thing may pop up at some point. Possibly. Or it may very well not. We will jump back in and see them all now. Hello! I believe everyone's talking about fire gauntlets, but we're not going to get distracted by those. Hello guys. So when last we left you all, you were back at Carnley Keep in stock in Borson, and you had a rest up. You had sent your demon friends, your mostly demon friends, some demon enemies, Varric, to go into town. You given them some money to go buy some new clothes. They had gone a little mad buying lots of jewellery, some special jewellery that Arissa has seen. And you guys had all made your way back and had a huge feast that evening in your keep. And then you had all gone to sleep. Everyone has their own rooms. Your guest demons were put in the guest wing, that kind of thing. So, unless there was anything you guys wanted to say or do during the feast after Varric's speech, then I'll skip you to the next morning. But if there's anything you wanted to do or say during, then go for it.
I have one thing.
Ragnar, okay, Varric first.
No, Ragnar can go first.
Okay, Ragnar specifically cried during the speech.
Oh.
That's it.
I would like to cry, that's all.
Do I have to roll for that?
No.
Performance.
What I will say is that Norvigne put her tiny hand, because she was like the size of a candle, she put her tiny hand right up on your cheek and like fizzled all your tears away.
Aw, that's cute. Also, Ragnar would totally have just used all of his fucking spell slots to just talk to her for the whole evening.
Ah. You guys get along very well. She's quite funny. She has a weird sense of humour because she doesn't come from this world, but you guys get along. It's very cool. I mean, you guys are getting along already, but you know, you continue to, for want of a better word, kindle your relationship.
That is fantastic. That pun is... Yep. I'm happy.
Alright, who's next?
Varric would like to show Arissa the lights that he ordered.
Okay, the totally surprise lights that the DM didn't accidentally surprise everyone with when she read out her notes. To be fair. I didn't say what they did.
The biggest point of them hasn't been explained yet.
Alright,
so Varric pulls out this string of,
would you like to pull them out, or would you like to have them put up for you and show her?
Ooh, yeah, that.
Okay. Meow to you two. Carry on.
Yeah, sorry.
That's alright.
While Varric is starting to explain, the lights are getting put up behind him. And he's just looking at Arissa going, well, seeing as I have literally no experience with children, let alone babies, and I mean, I thought I should be able to help as well. I may have ordered these lights specifically made to help me. And here is the cheat sheet. And he hands her a sheet with different color codings. And it's like, whenever the baby feels something, the lights will light up in the color of what the baby needs. So if the baby is hungry, they will turn blue. And if the baby is cold, they might turn red and that kind of stuff. So that even I would know what to do.
This makes life so much easier. Oh my god.
I am literally typing up the official chart now. I've got tired, hungry, needs the toilet / has been to the toilet, and wants a hug and some playtime. Is there anything else you would like the lights to tell you about?
If the baby is ill.
Yeah.
Okay.
When do I need to take it to a doctor, or is this just being noisy normal?
Should there also be one for if it's cursed?
Yes, just to be sure.
Yeah.
Just to be sure. Cursed would also include stuff like possessed, I think, because, well, the Varric wouldn't...
I think you can
once in a
safely
person-
assume if the baby is hovering above the bed and twisting round and round and round and spewing vomit, it's probably cursed or possessed.
Yep.
I highly doubt that's going to happen, but you can have those lights if you wish.
Well, the lights work for much, much more than just possession and vomiting and, well, that kind of stuff. It's also for poopy diapers and such. Because I'd want to know when I have to press the digitation.
Alright, there you go. Mood lighting, there you go. So you got blue for tired, yellow for hungry, red for either has been or needs to go to the toilet, pink for needs attention or a hug or playing. Meow! 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 My dog looked up then. I've got headphones in and my dog heard that one. And pink is for quack quack.
Sorry, I'm alone, so he just wants to be pet and he's annoyed that I'm not petting him.
It's alright. Pink is for attention, needing a hug or needing a play.
Get that damn cat!
Green is for being sick, and black is for possessed or cursed, etc. Cursed, possessed.
That cat is making me look at myself laughing. It's hilarious. It's just the way it was taking no shit when you're just like shh.
It's to be fair, my doggy
He
does
never
that.
listens to me, I'm sorry.
It's
He
alright.
never shuts up.
My dog shuts up
It's one of
until
those
he
orange
wants to go
breeds.
outside, and then he's just like, and then he talks back to you when you're putting his lead on, but you're putting it on too slowly, and he's like padding his feet, like, it's like, I'm doing it! It's like, I could not physically be going any faster. Oh boy. Anyway, so yeah, Arissa, you get shown the mood lighting, and there's a little, like, you know when you bought a mood ring when you were in high school, it shows you what the different colours are on a little chart you get with it. Yeah, it's got one of those pinned to the wall.
Yay. And then the other gift that Varric ordered is probably not done yet.
No, but it will be tomorrow, I think.
Yay.
Didn't, because yeah, you had it, like, you wanted it as quick as you possibly could.
I also ordered them to close their shop after already closing 2 pie stores. Because Varric was playing big baller, throwing
In
around
the-
money like it was
The
nothing.
best possible way. But yeah, so yeah, was there anything else anyone else wanted to do that evening, either at the feast or not, before you wake up the next day refreshed and excited for the world?
Vitertus might study his egg one more time before heading off to bed.
Okay, do me an investigation check for now.
I'm going to presume that's a 7. That is indeed a 7.
It looks
Well,
like an
okay.
egg. It's dark. There are some cracks in it still, but you did notice them the other day. The sort of amber orange glow that's sort of coming from the middle is still there. Feels quite warm in your hands, but you're a tiefling, so it's not hot.
He's just going to note all that and then he's going to put it away.
Boom.
Alrighty. I love that there's a grumpy cat meme of just blowing shit up. That just makes me very happy. Yeah, that's the cat that's not getting any attention. Kaboom. Alrighty, so anything else for that evening, or shall I skip you ahead to the next morning?
I guess skipping would be okay.
I will
Or at
take
least
that
on
as
Varric's behalf.
I will take that as a skipping to the next morning. Sleeping arrangement wise, is there anyone wanted to sleep with, platonically or not?
Ragnar's with Navinye.
Oi, oi. Platonically or not platonically?
Both?
Whatever happens.
Not both.
It can be both.
Both. More romantically than platonically. But still, like, friendly.
Alrighty, so you can do the do, but you still cuddle after.
Yeah.
Ah, see, that's very nice. That, by the way, is the best gift that exists in the whole world. Just both. Both is good. It's just perfect for every occasion. Alrighty.
It's a very underrated movie.
Oh, I love that movie so much. Okay, guys. So, you wake up the next morning, and you're all in your rooms individually. The Veritas, are you in the same room as Isia, or is she going to go in one of the guest rooms?
Vitera's sort of just gone to his own room and escorted his beard to one of the guest rooms.
Alrighty, noted. Alrighty, so you guys wake up, stretch. You get knocked for in the morning at about 8:30, 9 o'clock. You are offered breakfast should you want it, which will be ready.
Ooh, breakfast.
Varric, the person, like the maid who comes to inform you that there is breakfast, has brought you a large bowl of some sort of cocoa-covered cereal, and a very large spoon that you are offered, and a small jug of milk. This gets offered to you on a silver tray, and they say, to tide you over, breakfast is at 10 o'clock.
Ooh, thank you. And he's just gonna munch on the food.
Okay, essentially, Varric, you've just got the fantasy equivalent of Cocoa Pops. Everybody else, everyone else, you're informed that breakfast will be at 10 o'clock, and that your guests are awake and have been invited to join you as well.
Wait, we have guests?
You have 2 demons and an Islia.
Oh, right, those are guests.
I like to feel like that's in character as well. It's like, what? We have guests? Yes. You have demons? Oh, God, them.
Yep.
If Hannibal says that out loud, Viteratus is just going to walk past to remind her, by the way, you're one as well.
No, she's a pet.
I'm more part of this group than you at this point.
Varric's gonna literally answer to Verti reminding Hannah that she's a guest by going, no, she's a pet. She came from my bag of animals.
I mean, he's not incorrect.
And I was just gonna stare at him.
Viteratus is just going to look between Hannibal and Varric and go, that's your argument to have, not mine.
I'm gonna nope out of this. Alright, so are you all gonna make your way down to the up? Well, no, you're on a top floor, so down and along into the large dining hall.
Breakfast.
My choice.
I like the choice of breakfast. I also like Viteratus's choice of no thanks, I choose life. Noping out of this conversation. God, I want to work on my Sid. One day I'll get Sid. I can do Scrat. Scrat I can do. And one day I will use him as an NPC and it'll be marvellous. So you guys all trundle down to breakfast. You can be in pyjamas or clothes, whatever it is you would like to be in. And you head on down. There's a huge long table in the middle of the room surrounded by very comfy chairs and a large breakfast spread. There's bacon, there's eggs, there's toast, there's tomatoes, there's beans. Yeah, why not? There's beans. There's like porridge. There's more Cocoa Puffs. There is crumpets and there's a big bowl of marshmallows for some weird reason. And there's like scones and stuff. And
Marshmallows are never weird.
Marshmallows just at every meal.
Marshmallows.
Okay.
Varric has the sugar addiction now, so he's gonna definitely munch on the marshmallows.
Alrighty, so yeah, you guys are sitting down, hanging out to breakfast. Already at the table are Islia and the 2 demon boys. The two demon boys are
Oh,
sat.
ew.
The two demon boys are sat next to each other. As you walk in, Brakens is pouring syrup from a small jug into Tiavat's mouth.
Ew, because that's what I wanted to see on. That's in character, Varric.
I was just reading that. Wow, the Theritas comes down in a vest and trousers. It is one of the few times he has not been in full plate. Shock.
Yes.
Shock resonates around all the staff. And Eastlia has got like a spoon of like berries up to her mouth, and it just stays there for a while as she watches you enter and watches you sit down. Hi, Vitheritas.
Good morning.
You look very well rested.
It was a good night and a heck of a lot more comfortable not to be in my armor.
Yeah, this is wow, you look different.
Well, we're unlikely to be attacked in here, and worst case, I can always throw it on before they get through the gates.
Yep. That's breakfast. Yes. Yes, breakfast. Now, Vitheritas, what's this? And she picks up a small blueberry and holds it up. They are delicious. What is it?
He's going to look at it and go, those are blueberries. You
Ah,
often find them all over in the wild.
you know, I really should have guessed that one, shouldn't I? And she's looking at it like, it's blue.
Quite a few of them are very imaginatively named.
Yes.
You've also got blackberries.
And perfectly following that, this is a strawberry.
Oh. And I've heard rumours of something called a kumquat.
The therapist is going to think if he's actually heard of that one.
What?
A kumquat. I thought they made it up just to trick me.
Is it a food? I mean, I assume Varric would know.
It is, yeah.
In the real world, yes. In this fantasy setting, maybe. I don't even know how to spell it, man. I'll have to look it up later. Kumquat. So she starts digging into more berries and discovers that she really likes jam. Jam is great. Jam is good. She likes jam. She pours a big bunch of jam all over her plate and just eats it with a spoon. It's brilliant. I think she's seen.
Jam is the best.
I think she's seen you do this at some point. Yes, thank you. See, kumquats are real. They look a little bit like very small, long oranges. Now I'm just confused. Thank you, Arissa. Bardic.
If a grape and an orange had a baby.
Yeah, Bardic knowledge for the win. So
I legit did not know that thing.
that's okay. I don't think you need to. I don't think it's particularly important. It's a thing now, but it's a thing we all know. Knowledge is power, and knowing is half the battle. Oh, it's the size of a large olive. Wow. Anyway, sorry. Right, we'll stop teaching people important things instead. So you guys can sit down and you can have as much food as you would like. Varric, you do get handed you don't just get handed a plate. You get handed essentially a tray. You get the feeling they were considering handing you a small trough, but that might have been a little insulting. So they've gone with a tray for now. While everyone else is handed plates. Plates. Yeah, Varric, you just get the like pigsty down the end with a trough, like. So you will sit and you will eat. Brakens, when you come in and you scoff at them, Varric, he just winks at you and wipes away some of the syrup from Tiavat's lip with his thumb and then sucks it and like pulls a face at you like
I'ma throw a berry at him.
Okay. Do me a dexterity.
That's a 23.
Alright, that hits. I'm just gonna put on my notes. Varric threw it. What were you throwing at him?
A slightly squeezed blueberry.
Okay. Alright. It like hits him like right on the hairline next to his eye, and it goes smush, and like a small trickle goes like down next to his dark pupil, and he sort of blinks it out of his eyelashes for a moment. Ah! If that got in my hair, Varric, you're in trouble.
We can solve that.
Oh yeah? How?
I cast prestidigitation to make blueberries appear in his hair.
Seeming to get in on the joke, Tiamat just turns to you, Varric, and said, "Oh no, whatever shall we do?" And then he pulls Brickens towards him and starts licking like the blueberries off his head. These taste a lot like hair.
At that point, the blueberries disappear again. Just cause, and then Varric's gonna eat food and just eat it all.
Tiamat sticks his tongue out at you, and him and Brickens continue to be sickeningly cute.
I'm a below my cloak. Just cause I can.
Just cause. Brickens rolls his eyes and eats some little biscuits.
Can I charm some of the blueberries to taste like wine? Just to see what happens.
Sure you can. Are you going to eat them yourself, or are you going to feed them to someone?
I want to see if how many people are going to eat them, not realizing they taste like wine and they're actually made of wine, and how many people I can get drunk out of blueberries.
Okay, do me a... Just roll me a d20.
Yes, madam. Got me a 15.
Alrighty. Okay, out of all of you, who would be eating the blueberries with their breakfast?
Varric will definitely eat all of the things, so that includes the blueberries.
Ragnar would as well.
Okay.
They're just sort of loaded up on like fruits, cheese, breads.
Alrighty, in which case, can those of you who were eating them do me a constitution check, and you need to beat a 15. I'm not laughing at Varric's nat one. I'm not laughing.
I am.
I was lying. Oh, Paladin nat 20. Oh no, Paladin 20, not nat 20, but still. So we've got two ends of the spectrum there. Ragnar, if you were eating them, there is your one in. And Arissa, I assume, doesn't need to make one, because even if she was eating them, Hannibal, I assume you would turn them back into normal blueberries before Arissa could get drunk.
You would be correct.
Alrighty, good to know.
Actually, they would taste like wine, but they wouldn't have alcohol in it.
Okay, that's good then. So Arissa, if you eat any of the blueberries, they taste very alcoholic. It's a very strange taste you haven't had for a long time.
She's just gonna like gorge on them for a bit.
All
I
right.
don't care if there's no alcohol. She's just like, I miss the taste of wine.
Poor Arissa. It's a good job you missed so many months by going away and coming back again. Alrighty, so Varric and Ragnar, these berries taste. There's an odd taste to them. It's grapey, it's berry, but there's something alcoholic about them, and you think maybe like they sat next to some wine, maybe they've been permeated or something. Varric, however, you're getting like fake drunk of these berries right now. And like after your 5th or 6th handful, you start to slur a little bit. Your tongue feels too big for your mouth. You're like leaning on one of your elbows. Like you're proper like. I assume Varric would be quite a happy drunk, but you can decide. So whatever kind of drunk you want to be. Varric, you are now not so sloshed that you're passing out, but you're like, I want to go to a kebab shop and order everything on the menu drunk.
He does that without being grateful. Yes, definitely.
That's true.
Are the demons with us yet? Because I would like to see if I could get them drunk.
Sure, they are actually. And they definitely are eating the grapes. Well, Tiamat is feeding Braken's grapes. They're doing like a little show. It seems to be aimed at Varric. In fact, you notice that they did sort of move up seats, so they are directly opposite Varric. And you see Braken sort of nudge Tiamat in the ribs and wink and blow a kiss to him, and Tiamat picks up like a big handful of grapes and starts holding it above Braken's head. He starts and he starts eating them and licking his lips and looking at you, Varric, and the more you're eating, it's sort of like a competition between the two of you. Like, they do it like all sexy, like, yeah, oh, feed me grapes, and you're just like, yeah, just shove them in my face, yeah, oh, the grape, and then you start getting a little bit drunk, and Braken's
Nice.
Braken's got a 4! So after a while, Braken's too is sort of leaning on his elbow here across the table at you, Varric, like, he hasn't realised he's twisted back to speaking in his native tongue.
What was that? Also, Varric will probably be switching between Common, Elvish, and Sylvan at this point.
I love how just the comment from Vatheritas just looks over at Braken's and Varric and raises his eyebrow. Like, I didn't take off my armour for this.
He's just going to watch them for a little bit and go, isn't it a little early to be drinking?
I haven't drunk anything.
He's going to look across at Braken's, look back at Varric and go, sure.
Want a berry? And he's going to roll a handful of the
I'm going to presume that Vatheritas also only understands it like 2 out of 3 words.
Yep.
Since he understands at least Elvish.
Yeah, you can get like the odd word, like Elvish, common, Elvish, gibberish, common.
Doesn't Sylvan also sound like rustling trees or something?
Oh
Because that
god.
would be very confusing mid-sentence.
Drunk trees.
Varric would slur his tree rustling. It sounds like the rude sandstorm.
So Vatheritas, you get rolled a handful of grapes. Sorry, not grapes. Yeah, grapes. Sorry, the grapes.
The wine ones.
The wine ones. Hannibal just winks at Vatheritas. Apparently, like Dean does in Supernatural, which is a very good wink, to be fair. So, Vatheritas, as you get these rolled towards you, and looking confusedly at the 2 apparently drunk boys, Hannibal shoots you a knowing wink.
Yeah, so just single weapons, balance.
Hannibal, what did you do?
Oh, nothing. Just livened up this place a bit. You were getting too mushy.
Varric shall attempt to billow the cloak. Is that still a thing he can do? Or does it also billow all drunkenly?
Okay, Varric, do me a concentration. So do me a constitution check with disadvantage.
Okay, that went about as well as expected. A 7 in total.
Okay, Varric, you sort of swish your arm ready to billow your cloak, and you knock your own chair over, and it takes the back of the cloak
Whoa.
with it, and you get sort of knocked backwards. You don't completely fall off your feet, but like you swing your arm, miss your cloak, knock your chair over, and the cloak gets caught on the leg, and you sort of get pulled backwards a little bit, and you stagger where you're standing.
Ooh. Whoa. What was that?
Braken's
As
just
he does
laughs
this,
and points at you.
Ragnar is gonna billow his cloak.
Yes, that.
Ragnar, your cloak billows magnificently.
Varric's gonna applaud.
Varric, as you start to clap, you miss your own hand and like catch yourself in the nose with one of your thumbs.
Oh. Huh.
I gotta
That's
say,
not
this is being
fun.
more entertaining than I expected.
I'm a go hunt now. And with that, Varric's gonna attempt to get up and walk out. Glad his bow on the way out and just sling his quiver over the shoulder and head out.
Alright, do me a dexterity check with disadvantage.
As he's doing that, Patharatus is just slowly putting his head back into his hands and going, I'm surrounded by children.
17
Drive
total.
children.
Okay.
So, scale now, leather armor will change.
Luckily, Varric is quite good at being drunk.
Alright, Varric, you stand up, you manage to sort of disentangle your cloak from the chair, and you start to walk very carefully, one foot in front of the other, towards the doors.
Before he reaches the door, he's gonna go look over his shoulder and he's gonna ask which one of the doors did I need, and he's gonna point to the clear wall with the main door. I'm just gonna go, which one do I need?
Patharatus is going to look at Varric leaving, then look at Hannibal and go,
You guys are gonna be. It was fun in its way.
you started this, how about you go supervise him?
Fine. But I'll be taking my coffee. As she gets up to leave, she turns to her. Don't eat any more blueberries. They may not have alcohol in it, at least for you, but they can have a little side effect. Just don't eat them. And she keeps on going.
She just looks at Hannah, just really sad, just like, there's no wine.
No, but I can promise you there will be wine once the child is born.
There better be a lot of goddamn wine.
You saw how I am with money.
Good. She throws a handful of them at Hannah.
Annabelle catches some in her mouth and keeps going.
Alright, so
It tastes better than I remember.
you're following Varric. Alrighty. So you guys head out. Everyone else in the room, what would you like to do with your day?
Patharatus is actually going to wander off towards the small church, or the small temple.
Okay. Alright. Anyone else going with you?
He'll go on his own.
Alrighty. Alrighty, you're going to see that, you're going to see that. And so, Arissa and Ragnar and guests, is there anything you guys would like to do with your day? Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
No, Ragnar's gonna spend the day training with his good old doggy pal and fucking doing magic and shit and swords.
You feel a small tug on your trouser leg.
Ragnar very quickly is like, hello.
Looking down, you see a small black furry tackle.
God.
Nope, you're not getting rid of him, Hannibal.
Ragnar will look down at him. He'll like extend a hand to him and be like, "Today, you shall train with a knight."
Taco darts under the table and returns a minute later with his big rubber duck covered in crumbs, which he brushes off from his own breakfast, and jumps onto your hand.
An excellent steed.
Alrighty.
So have a
As
think
you,
about it.
there's a big sort of training area where a lot of your guards have been training out in the grounds. There is like a big arena. There's places where you can. Oh, you got me going. I'm sorry. There's places where you can shoot, you can run, you can ride.
Okay, there is.
There's like target practice and things like that.
An insignia of rank.
Someone notices what you guys are doing, and after about 20 minutes, a
Now, for now,
small,
you can just type in insignia,
sort of like
insignia.
human woman comes bustling out, and she offers you a small selection of like pins that would be used to do sewing, and she says,
Can be, yeah.
could be used as a sword for the
So,
little
yeah,
one.
Just put in rank insignia at the moment. Yourself.
An excellent suggestion. Thank you very. How much do you want for
you're gonna
these
have
pins?
2 or 3 things that you can
Oh,
select and
well, they're just from me sewing kit, love, and you're already paying me to work here, so it's all right.
also
Are you most certain?
a trophy taken
Of
from
course.
And he's going to like lift Taco up to like the eye line of the woman and be like, Taco, what do you say to the kind lady?
Thank you. Taco has a sword.
Yeah.
Can I have 2?
Your regiment or the Android?
Can I have 2? Can I? Please.
Right, Ragnar's gonna give him a look and be
Yeah,
like,
let's say
1 sword for now, 2 swords
military
comes later.
whatever's
Oh,
remote,
alright.
but yeah,
Can-
make a note to
can I have the
find
blue
out.
one?
Blue is a good color.
Taco! And he takes the blue pin that's got a big sort of like thick head on it, and he sort of brandishes it in his little paw and waves it around. Taco!
Yeah,
Be careful. You need to learn the basics of handling a sword first.
Oh, okay.
They are
Okay.
dangerous weapons.
I can
But
kill
artful
someone.
instruments in the right hands.
I'll
You
run
could
you
kill
through.
someone, but don't run me through.
I won't.
That's a bad idea.
I won't run you through. I promise.
Okay. You best not. I'll be
Okay.
keeping an eye on you.
Okay, you have your game.
Okay. And he like
I mean,
holds onto his pin and like clambers out of your hand and jumps down onto the grass and runs over to his steed, and he sits on his little rubber duck and he starts waving it in the air. Taco! Taco! Take that! And that! And that! And he starts like beheading all the little flowers that are close to him and some of the like blades of grass in the surrounding area.
And they're little as well. They're little. So you've got like a little
Ragnar's gonna just like
chest set.
like stroke his chin for a moment and be like,
It's not like a full table.
I think you need to learn restraint, but this will work. We can still teach you.
Taco!
This is like a mouse.
Alright. Is there anything you yourself would like to practice today, Ragnar, or are you just going to have a full-on proper training session of general overviewness?
No, sorry.
Yeah, like gonna just train like butts.
Okay, cool.
Is that a phrase?
It is now. Train like Taco.
And because he's got his crossbow as well, like he's gonna do some training of the mixing and the matching of the sword and the crossbow and the magics and being cool as fuck. And he's gonna teach Taco like fundamentals and tell
Awesome.
stories and shit.
Teach him magic.
Oh my god, yes, teach Taco magic. Taco can be a wizard.
I
Could
feel like he'd
Ragnar be
a
the
wild-
warlock patron of Taco?
Yes!
I'd feel like Taco would be a wild magic sorcerer.
Yes.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh god.
Oh god, indeed.
Can't we have the cockroach dude back? I prefer his voice to this.
I believe he doesn't have a chance of returning.
Not
I
with
worked hard on that.
Varric did. When Varric hates you, Varric hates you.
That's why we know secretly he doesn't hate Tiamat, but against that bad, they still live.
Well, with the threat of bear traps, the constant overhanging threat of bear traps. You continue to train Ragnar And at some point, Taka gets a little tired. So he watches you while you're firing off your crossbow rounds. He finds a little fountain, and he clambers up to it with his rubber duck, and he paddles around on top of his rubber duck in this fountain, brandishing his sword in the air while he's watching you fire your crossbow into various targets and have a lovely afternoon doing all of this.
I adore Taco.
Me too. He was just an afterthought character, but he's here now forever. It's brilliant.
I hope he doesn't die, because that would be
Say
painful.
things like that.
It's okay, he's been trained up to be a knight. He'll be fine, he'll be fine, he'll be
Yeah,
fine.
exactly. He can defend himself.
He will outlive you all. Taco, in fact, is the big bad evil guy.
Basha.
Oh, and you're
shit.
training him?
The
But if
Theratar.
Ragnar's his warlock patron, he can take away his powers, right?
The Theratas, you head down to the small temple. Is there anything in particular you'd like to do while you were there?
He's going to find the priest at the temple, or attempt to find the priest at the temple, and then he's going to ask around to see if there's anything in, or any assistance they can render for the town.
Meow meow.
You find the priest.
Meow.
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 Meow. Shh. Meow. Shh. Meow. Shh. You find the priest. Oh god. Oh god, that's horrible. Oh my god, no. Oh, that's horrible. A cat with a human mouth, no. Oh, I don't like it. Sorry. You find the priest fairly easily. And he says, help? In what way? It's a kind offer, but in what manner?
In similar manner to what we did before. If there's any news of any ill deeds in the land around that need investigation, we're here for a short time as it is.
Well, I suppose there is one thing. It may not be completely up your alley or anything at all. There is, or has been, complaints of strange noises at night coming from the old churchyard. That's the temple before this one. It's not used anymore. It was knocked down and turned into, more housing when they built this one. But the graveyard and surrounding areas still linger on. And, they've been... The locals have said recently there's been odd noises at night. Nothing particularly loud, just a strange noise. Hard to describe myself. But if you wanted to do some investigating, I'm sure it's nothing for the likes of you.
Well, we're in town and we're always willing to help, so as you said, it may be nothing, but in case it is, I'm more than happy to go and investigate it.
Well, it's very kind of you. If you're sure, of course. The old churchyard is on it's on Church Street, so wouldn't be too hard to find. If you want to speak to locals, they all the houses around that area, most of them have reported hearing the noises. Only in the last few days, mind you. So.
Not a problem. I'll see if I can gather up some additional hands to ask around, and come tonight I'll pay a visit myself to see if there's anything going on.
If he kills you, that's on you.
All right. Well,
Just
do let us know, and thank you. It's most kind of you.
Not a problem at all. It's a part of the job.
I
So it's up
suppose
to you which one you
your
want.
job is a lot more risky than mine.
One guy's actually taking a lot of time.
It's necessary nonetheless.
Don't worry about sending notes for the moment.
If there's anything we can do in return, let us know.
I'll figure that out.
Your kindness is very much appreciated. With that, he's just going to bow and then make his way out.
Alrighty. Also, yes, Varric, don't go near the school. You're not allowed there. Well, Varric is not allowed in the school. He's scary. Varric scares children.
hey, Varric is not the only one who ruined that school day.
I believe it was a community effort.
it was
I-
it was
I-
definitely a
I
group
was
effort.
merely- I was merely the one hiding in the cabinet.
So the most
And I'm
scary
sure
one.
that-
You were the jump scare.
Yeah, I was merely the jump scare. I mean, Verti was the demon in the playground. We had lots
I
of
remember
communal
that
chaos.
episode.
That was
Oh
so good.
dear. I'm going to have to go back and re-listen to that one again. Alright, so the Theratas, are you heading back to the cube, or are you going to go and ask around yourself, etc.?
He's going to wander on back up to the keep, and he might actually swing past the graveyard itself on the way.
Alright. It's not too far away. It's not a massive town. You can wander. You find Church Street fairly easily. It's quite a long, old, cobbled street. It's got fairly new-looking houses on it, sort of in the last maybe 50 years, as opposed to in the last 100 or so. These have been put together. Sort of sloping roofs. They're not massive by any means. It's fairly small, but it's not shabby. They all look fairly happy, the people who are walking about. There are children, grown-ups, etc., wandering about, going through the streets, shopping. And you head down and you start to see old railings and bushes and sort of vines and a lot of overgrowth. And you realise round the back of several of the houses and up along towards the end of the street in a sort of C shape around the very end of the dead end street is the old churchyard itself. And you can see very old gravestones. A lot of them have fallen over. A lot of them are very simple. Most of them you can't see the names on anymore, and they're all sort of surrounded by lots of brambles. No, doggy, you are not making noises too. Stop dreaming. Stop chasing rabbits. You're not allowed to chase rabbits, remember? Remember what happened last time you chased a squirrel? You ran into the fence. That was not okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Troy! So, Theratas, is there anything you'd like to do while you are there?
Yeah, he's going to walk through the grounds and see if he can see any signs of any recent travellers going through there.
Alrighty.
And you'll also use a detect evil off the top of my head.
Okay. Do me an investigation check.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yep, that's apparently a thing. Investigation 0,
Yeah.
as in 2 minus 2.
Oh, but Theratas. Oh dear. Okay, so Theratas. It's really overgrown. You sort of you push your way through. There's like old railings and things, but it's just remnants. You can get through into the graveyard itself, but it is so overgrown. There are vines. It's like the end of, I've said this before on this channel before, but like the very end of Disney's Sleeping Beauty, when he has to cut his way through all the like tangles of vines outside where the princess is. It's pretty much like that. It's all been allowed to overgrow. You can tell by the looks of some of these gravestones that no one's been buried in here for a good 50 years. Around the same time the houses were built, everyone obviously got buried in the new temple in the new churchyard. So no one seems to be coming here very often or using this. You don't see anything. However, when you throw down your detect good and evil, you detect a familiar whiff of something dark and something that hits your nostrils with a strong stench of sulphur, and something that's irony and coppery, a bit like blood, and you can detect some evil around here.
Does he get a rough sense of which direction it's in?
Pretty much dead centre.
He's going to frown at that.
50 feet is, as I understand, like the standard.
And then he will.
One hempen rope is 50 feet.
I think you've had to show up at some point. Considering he's come down without his equipment, he will make his way back up towards the keep.
Yes, Varric, to answer your question in chat, yes, within about an hour you would sober up.
Nice.
And
Basically doing a stunt show.
Varric's not doing a stunt show. Alright, good to know. And yes, Betharata, so you take note of this in your big clever noggin and head on back to the keep. And Varric does flying stunt show over market.
Hannibal's just floating after him.
Alright. Varric, do me 2 acrobatics checks and 1 athletics.
Okay, that's a 17. 8 is 25 for the first acrobatics.
Uh-huh.
Then 18 plus 8 makes 26 for the second.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the athletics, that's... He's a lot less good at that.
Well, you've got to be bad at something, Varric. Eating competitions
Yeah,
is not one of them.
This is 111, so that's 25, 26 for acrobatics, then 11 for athletics.
Alrighty. You managed to do some pretty impressive loop-de-loops and spins and everything before you feel a little bit giddy and you have to sort of stop yourself. And you go to land right dead centre in between a huge crowd of children and their onlooking, shocked parents. But as you go to land, your strength gives out a little bit and your wings start to sort of go, tired. And they sort of fold in around you a little bit and you land flat on your butt. It doesn't hurt particularly, but it's not the graceful landing you were hoping for. And all the kids around you, they're clapping, but they're also giggling behind their hands like, he landed on his bum.
Okay. Varric's gonna stand up, make a little bow, and then just awkwardly walk off to the keep. A bit
Hannibal's just
embarrassed.
gonna gracefully float down after him.
Show off. Yes, Varric, it hurts your ego more than it hurts you physically, yes. Alrighty, so you head on back to the keep. Meanwhile, Arissa, is there anything you would like to do with your day before your party members return to the keep?
So what's everyone else been doing?
Ragnar is off training with Taco. Varric is drunkenly off doing God knows what with Hannibal.
The
And
planning was hunting.
the plan was hunting. It didn't occur. The Theratas went off to the local temple. Eastia has gone to have a bath because that's exciting for her, and she hasn't done this before. The 2 demon boys have gone for a walk.
I think Arissa's just gonna wander about the town, I think.
Okay.
Little town, it's a quiet village.
Okay, Arissa
I have the music
wanders
in my head.
singing Disney songs. Marvellous. Arissa, you would notice Varric's marvellous stunt show. You're in Borson. I'll type that in chat for you. Yes, all right. So yeah, Arissa, at some point you'll see Varric's marvellous stunt show as he is flying overhead with Hannibal just sort of zooming along behind him, looking like a very unimpressed Doctor Strange.
Aw, thank you.
That's all right.
That just made my day.
And then you see him attempt to land in the middle of a pile of children, land on his butt, and all the children are sort of laughing and clapping, and then they skip off. Some of them have their arms out, and they're going, meow, and they're pretending to fly as they run through the streets past you as Varric and Hannibal get up and start to head on homewards.
Well, that's not surprising.
Frantic typing.
I'm presuming that the Theratus isn't going to bump into anyone on his way back to the keep.
Well, on your way back, you probably would bump into Arissa, seeing as she is not flying home. So at some point, you'll see Theratus, who I assume... Did you put your armor on before you went to the temple, or are you still
Nope.
going practically naked? All right, you see a practically naked Theratus. Still very odd. You notice he's got leaves stuck all over his feet, and he's got some like twigs going through his hair, and he's got some brambles attached to his elbows and things.
She is immediately going to fuss over him and start taking off the brambles and everything.
Well, that's not
He'll look down at her and go, "Thank you for that. I'm probably going to be a little less uncomfortable, more comfortable in my armor without bringing a whole bush in there with me."
She laughs.
That said, I think we got a problem.
She kind of pauses mid taking leaf off and kind of looks at you and goes, "What do you mean problem?"
If you're able to look at that and go, I got this.
Something evil's been lurking around in the old churchyard behind the small temple.
Of course it has.
And the last time we had something evil lurking around this town, well, children went missing.
How long has it been there?
A couple of days at most, from what I've heard.
So the sooner we get rid of it, the better.
Some cutting you've been doing.
That's the plan.
But yes.
I'm just not to battle dressed like this.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Do you happen to know where the others have made their way to?
They're here, there, and everywhere. I'm not sure Varric would be too much use at the moment.
As much as I hate to say it, drunker than a skunk, he's probably still a better tracker than I am.
True. Very true.
And at the very least, he has the benefit of being able to fly.
Also true. I'll see if I can get a message to him. She kind of looks around quickly, like, where are we?
Yeah, there is.
Where are we?
In the middle of town.
Is there like a specific building that we're near?
You are near the Twinkling Tavern. It's new. It's just been bought under new management.
Well, that's somewhere Arissa's gonna go.
I thought so.
I feel like we found our... What do you call it? The pub that you always go to? Well,
It's the place you always go in the sitcom. It is now your pub.
yeah. Yeah, it's
It's our pub. Do Arissa and Varric both have their message rings on?
Varric would have it on at pretty much all times.
Because I think we did lend it to people, but we probably took it back.
I'm going to assume as soon as Ragnar heard again, Varric was take
Yeah.
his ring and then hand Arissa back the ring that he bought it from her.
So Arissa's just going to send Varric a message via the rings and say, "Where are you?"
I'm washing my windows. Where are you?
Sorry, internet went a bit
Ah.
with.
Varric replies with, "I'm washing the bedroom windows. Where are you?"
I'll come meet you.
Okay.
Try and be sober.
I don't know what happened earlier, but I promise I'm sober now.
Okay, and if you can find anyone else still at the keep, grab them too.
Okay. With that, I'm gonna try and see if I can find Ragnar, because I know that he's near.
Arissa's going to turn to Vitheritas and say, Varric's back at the keep. We're going to meet him there, and then you can get your armor on, and then we can do the snoops.
Much appreciated. I'm fairly good in combat, but when it comes to the more investigative problems, I am not exactly the best. It's also very hard to sneak up on people in plate armor.
Yep, Mr. Clanky.
It's hard to sneak in plate armor.
Clang, 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 clang. Also, yes, Arissa, I will say do the snoops can be the episode name, but I have one small amendment. It's going to be do the MEOW Snoops. And that is my final offer. Varric, do me a perception check.
Okay. That's a 16 plus perception. Perception is a number as well. Yes, 11. 27.
That's okay. Basically, you can hear the sounds of "Tackle! Take that! Tackle!" And you can hear Ragnar calling instructions, and you can hear crossbow bolts firing.
Crossbows.
I wonder what a crossbow boat is. We need to work that one out. Anyway, and you also hear the sounds of like short swords and clashing and things, and tiny little ting, ting, ting. And you follow these sounds, and you find a massive courtyard where Ragnar and Tackle are in fact doing some training. So you find Ragnar.
I'm gonna land and then make my cloak billow as I land.
Alright, very impressive.
In response, Ragnar will make his cloak billow.
No, you hang up first. No, you hang up first. No, you.
Varric will put aside the bucket of water and like cleaning supplies that he had to clean the windows. He's gonna toss that to the side, and then he's gonna go, weird story. Arissa ringed me, and he's gonna point to the ring.
Fuck.
And so apparently we need to prepare because they were gonna meet us here, and that was something that they needed us for. But I only knew that I needed to find people here. So, and I found you in Taku. So,
Is it going to be something dangerous, or is this like a surprise birthday party? Like, what sort of prepared do we have to be?
I don't know, but if it's a birthday party, I may have forgotten, and I need to get me a gift.
I also probably would have to do the same.
I
Is
have a
it too
plan for a
late?
gift. I have a plan for a gift we can give together.
I'm all ears. That sounds
It's
very
magic.
valuable.
All you have to do is pull a card.
No, Varric. No. Bad Varric.
Ragnar is going to use mold earth and just throw sand into Varric's mouth.
Good, Ragnar. Good boy.
Varric's gonna cast message to appear in Ragnar's head and gonna go, you know you want to.
No, Varric. No.
Ragnar is just gonna laugh.
And with that, Varric's gonna close the box again, seal it up tightly, and put it back between his body armor and his chest.
God.
That gift.
And the internet stops interneting for the day. So, after a few minutes, the Theritas and Orissa arrive back at the keep. You hear them come through the front door, and through the windows you can see into the courtyard. You see Varric, Ragnar, Hannibal, and Tekel!
If you want to put it into your future traits.
Hello.
Personally, I don't think it's necessary.
Well met.
It's not something that has an effect so much.
Vitheritus nods and
It's more of
looks at Ragnar and the fact that he's got his equipment at least, and then turns to Varric and goes, "You might want to pick up your weapons."
Yeah. So.
Okay. And he's gonna.
fight now.
Varric probably already wore his armor. Oh no, wait, he had his pajamas on still. Shit, he forgot to change out of his pajamas. As he city.
I believe you.
Varric's gonna quickly get his armor and then sling his bow over his shoulder, like diagonally, and then also fetch the shield that he got from Verti and the trident with the donut attached. And he's gonna run out of the castle, run out of the keep, fully armored and prepared.
Alrighty.
What's the plan?
Ragnar's going to be like, so this isn't a birthday thing, this is a killing something thing.
Vitheritus is going to say to Ragnar, I went to check to see if there had been any news of ill tidings around stock since we'd been gone, and been told that there had been something strange going on. There is most definitely something evil at least lurking in a somewhat disused part of town.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we will be able to sort it out quickly, I hope.
Yes, I do believe having child snatchers in our city, however it is almost giving birth, is a bad idea.
Considering the nature of the last evil creatures that were here, we might want to do something about it.
Let's murder it severely.
And in case anyone did forget, the reason that evil was being drawn to stock was that there was already evil here, and it was being lured in. So let's make sure that we don't have any other nasty surprises arriving.
Last time we found evil here, there was, of course, the big thing stealing the children. But there was one other big evil thing here.
By my count, there was another 2.
Oh, you mean Brekens and his daddy? We can solve one of those issues right now. Just let me.
I don't think Brekens is the problem right now.
What's just happened for the big no?
Varric's suggesting to kill Brekens, and Arissa's not happy with that.
Vitheritus is going to look between Orissa and Varric and go, and at this moment, I believe I need to go get my armor.
Tactical withdrawal.
I'm yeeting out of this. Nope.
Varric has a slight tinge of bloodlust in his eyes because, they were talking about a kid-stealing monster, and, Arista is highly pregnant, and then later they were talking about demons, so, yeah. He's not in a happy mood. He's also probably slightly hungover from...
Quick, someone feed him marshmallows, quick! Alrighty. So, Theritas, you head on up to get your armor. Do a perception check as you're heading along the corridor.
It can do. You're getting sin binned. And for the other perception...
Yes, Barry. The corridor is a mimic. One day I'm gonna do it, and you're gonna hate me.
What do you mean one day? You've already done it. Also, that's a 7.
You've already mimicked, well, at least that pretty me.
Good point. Oh, you rolled a 7? Gosh, what a unusual turn of events. Theratas,
That was on 2 dice.
as you're heading towards your room to go get your armor, you hear some thumps and sudden noises coming from down the other end of the corridor.
To
Say that again?
He's going to stop for a moment and go and investigate.
Okay.
I am saying to people, know your characters.
Okay, they seem to be coming from behind the door of one of the guest wings.
Or neutral good, rather. No, lawful good actually does make sense.
He'll politely knock on it and go, "Does anyone need any assistance in there?"
Code of laws. Bio, yeah, whatever you want.
Do me another perception check.
Anything else? Because I forget that stuff. So if we go just spells, I keep forgetting which one so it's already.
Oh, that was marginally better.
I legit thought it was going to be an 8. 10. Marvellous. Alright, so you get up to the door, the noises briefly stop for a second, and then you distinctly hear bed springs, and you hear Brakenz's voice shout. And it starts in that language that you can sort of pick up on a little bit. You can hear some swear words. And then in response to you, you hear him shout, "Not really into sharing, thanks."
You know 3 cantrips.
He takes a couple of seconds to process that, then goes, "No problem, just sounded like someone was breaking something."
This is our 3rd bed today.
Are you sure you want mine? Because A, you have dark vision. B,
Probably more than I needed to know. With that, he's going to turn and walk off.
Guidance is very useful, especially for our combat stuff.
He'll head straight onto his room now to go fetch his armor.
Researching.
Alrighty.
And then once he's got all that on, he'll head down to regroup.
Alrighty, so you get rejoined by the Theratas in armor. Nope, no Varric, they do not. They've just been apologising a little bit to your staff and being led to various different guest quarters. just coming out wrapped in, like, you know, dressing gowns, like, "Hi, so it happened again. Do you have another room?" "Yeah, okay, we'll just go in there."
So yeah, just
Varric is grumpy. You can order another bed though, Varric. It's fine. You know how to do it now.
Fair enough.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. As long as they don't go in your room, be fine. As long as they don't run out of guest bedrooms.
Well, them attempting to do stuff in my bedroom will end in death.
Permadeath.
By dismemberment.
And then burning down the room. So yeah,
also.
You guys regroup. The Theratas has his armor, Varric has his weaponry, everyone's up and ready. So yeah, you guys gonna head off en masse to follow the Theratas?
Let's go!
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So as they head out, Vitharatus is going to say, apparently most of the people living near there have reported the noise, so it may not hurt for people to ask around, see if anyone has seen or heard anything specific.
Shall I go take a look over top to see what it looks like from the air?
That wouldn't hurt. Keep an eye out, especially on the center. That's where I sensed
Okay.
whatever it was.
Cardinal Eclipse, move out!
Rag-
Varric's just gonna jump, flap his wings, and then take off.
And at the same time, Ragnar billows his cloak,
Yeah.
as he said in chat. Alrighty, so you guys head on down, Varric flying overhead. As you get to Church Street, you follow the Theritas round. Varric, you head on over. You see round the sort of rounded bit at the end of the dead-end street, you see this very old rundown churchyard full of old gravestones. And it's really tangled and full of vines and dirt and messy trees. So do me a perception check.
Okay, perception.
Sound.
Ooh,
Sorry, I hesitated.
Ooh.
that's a 28 total.
Ooh, very nice. Okay, so you focus your attention on the centre, where Veritas said he detected this stuff going on. And you notice that a lot of the plants, although they're all old and sort of decaying, the ones around the dead centre are rotten and blackened. Even the earth, which the rest of the place is covered in sort of weeds and various different dark flowers, these ones are black and decaying and or dead. The soil itself is dark. And as you peer further down through the bushes and vines, you can see some red shapes glowing and sputtering on the dirt.
So, just to make sure I understand correctly, there's rotting plants,
Mm-hmm.
and around that are red shapes.
Yes, they are in the ground.
In the ground.
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Don't die.
I'll try my best. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a slightly closer look, but also very much shudder at the realization that all this nature is rotting.
Mm-hmm.
Can I cast Druidcraft to try and heal the plants?
Sure, you can give it a go. Do me a nature check with advantage.
I could really use the advantage. Oh, that didn't help much. I went from a 6 to a 7.
Alright. As you're trying, and Hannibal, as you're looking at them, because Hannibal flew down with you, says, as you're looking at these plants and you try to heal them up, you're reminded of various people you've seen who have been cursed over the years, and this doesn't seem rectifiable. God, that's a long word for this late at night. You try to mend the plants, but they can't. They're decaying, they're rotten, they're stuck as they are. But some of them, you notice, it's just the leaves on this side of the plant. The rest of the plant is fine, but the leaves that are touching, or the vines, or whatever bit is touching this bit towards the centre, these are the dark and black and rotting ones. It's slowly creeping its way along the rest of the plant, but these seem to be the bits that are affected.
Ooh.
And as the two of you land, are you going to land on the ground, or are you going to keep hovering?
I'm gonna land somewhat to the side,
Uh-huh.
my trident drawn and my shield in front of me.
Okay. As you land closer, you can hear something. It's an odd noise, and it takes you a little while to place it. It sort of sounds like a sputtering, stuttering noise, like a kind of noise, almost like when someone is scratching two rocks together to try and desperately catch a flame, but it's not quite catching. And you can smell something interesting. It smells of burning, and it smells slightly acidic. And every few seconds you get a whiff of it, and then it's gone, and then it's back again. Meanwhile, the rest of you head on through. You find a gap in the fence. There's quite a lot of bramble and things, but you fight your way through, heading towards where you saw Varric and Hannibal land. and pushing your way through, you guys notice also the sort of almost perfectly circular patch of dead, rotting plants and grass and the blackened earth. And you too hear this odd spitting, fizzling noise. And occasionally it gets really, really loud, and then it falls dead silent again. And you all catch a whiff. With Theratas, yours is stronger. Having sensed good and evil here before, you can sense the sulphur and the metallic irony blood smell and the darkness. Everyone else, you can smell a sort of whiff of slightly sulphuric, slightly acidic. It hits the back of your throat. It doesn't smell very nice. And you all spot these tiny red glimpses of glimmer through the undergrowth in the earth.
Ragnar would like to quietly say to Griffiths, just like, so I think if there's something in the earth, it would make sense for potentially me to try and dig it out. If everyone else is on board.
Well,
I'm up
do
for
we
that.
know if it's safe to touch the earth? It is killing plant life.
And don't worry, I have magic. I can magic.
She's gonna look slightly at him and can do magic and laugh silently to herself.
Well, I don't see any better suggestions from you. Oh, I can do magic better than anyone else here.
That's because I don't care.
Ragnar's going to use mold earth to move the earth, since there's been no objections.
Alright.
Veritas is just holding onto his weapons and watching, just letting smarter people do their thing.
Alright. So you all have a look, and Ragnar, as you start to move the first layers of earth, you push aside a huge bunch of the dead, rotten brambles and things. And as they move aside, and you start to push up the first layers of soil, you see just beneath, maybe half a foot of fallen soil and dirt. Underneath it, you can see the red glowing shapes better. And as you start to move more earth away, they become clearer and clearer, and they make a sort of circle. And you can see them in the shape of runes, and they're all glowing. But they're sort of fizzling out at the same time, and the noises you've been hearing are getting louder now as you can clear all the earth away and you can see them. It seems that they were put here a little while ago, and the earth has slowly just covered them over the years. And it's made a sort of ritual circle, similar to ones you may have seen before, but with different runes this time. They look more haphazard. It looks less perfect. Some of them don't look quite finished. And the whole thing has many breaks and gaps in it. And you can see it sort of fizzling and sputtering and emitting some very odd smells.
Ragnar's not the best for this, but could Ragnar try to work out what it is?
Sure.
Could I try as well?
Sure, do me an Arcana check.
Oh, yeah.
That's a solid 9.
13 here.
It'll do that. So you say, I'm using this, you click on it, and it will remind us what it is.
Alrighty. So,
what we're going to do is copy paste.
You guys have a poke at it. Sorry, not a poke. Arissa just typed that in chat. You guys have a look at it, and you think, long and hard, you think. With your 9, Ragnar, it reminds you of things you've read about and seen. It looks like some sort of summoning circle. Judging by the runes themselves and the sense you're getting off it, definitely for something evil. Varric, you get a better idea. It looks like a ritual summoning circle that was probably intended to either speak with or summon some sort of devilish demonic creature.
Can Hannibal curiously just touch the ground where the ritual is and see what's going to happen?
I'm
Sure.
poking it with a stick.
Okay, so Arissa pokes it with a wooden stick. Arissa, can you make a constitution save? Hannibal, can you make a constitution save?
Yes, madam.
You get to add a 9 to that.
Oh, thank God.
I will say, actually, you're curious, that's fine.
Constitution save.
Yeah.
The word doesn't cure as much. But because the way
And you said we could add a 9.
Yes.
Oh, so I can add a 9?
What did you get, Arissa?
because of how we there's not much.
Sorry, I just read chat. This is the demon summoning circle, says Varric. I told you guys Brickens was the cause of all of this. Now can I finally kill him?
All of that is out loud as well.
Yep.
Arissa will still say no.
Vitheritus is going to just slowly raise a hand up behind Varric's head and just gently cuff him across the back of the head.
Just slow motion, slow motion, slow motion.
Okay, I get the hint. I'll do it when you guys sleep. Don't worry about it.
However, at the same time, you are bulky.
I'll just have to be the silent hero again.
Ragnar will
Also out
repeat the
loud.
action that Vitheritus did.
Alright, Arissa, you poke it with a stick. The stick immediately sparks and catches on fire. You drop it just as it burns the tips of your fingers a little bit, but you brush them off and you're alright. Getting distracted by the conversation about killing Brickens now. Hannibal, you poke it with a finger, and red sparks shoot out. They don't hurt you particularly. Like, the end of your finger goes black for about 10 seconds, and then it goes back to its usual colour. And you can sense that magic was put into this, and intent to speak to something evil, but the knowledge was not there, and this is incomplete. This is not finished, and it's not well done.
My, but someone did a very sloppy job, didn't they?
No.
I'm surprised it hasn't blown up yet.
Yes.
Almost in response to this, it fizzles and hisses and spits again, even louder.
Annabelle just smirks a bit. Oh, don't feel bad. It's not your fault you were badly made. Actually, the person who should be ashamed, and the god they were trying to summon would probably be very mad at this sloppy job.
Vitheritus frowns very, very deep across. God.
Can I
demon.
just make that up? I said God because, well, you know.
Well, you're not sure.
Higher being.
You're not sure.
Okay.
Because it was quite sloppily done, you can't tell what exactly it was they were trying to summon. You know it was evil. Could be an evil deity. Could be an evil imp.
It gives you an option.
Well, I'm not sure if it was a god they were trying to summon. It's very, very badly made. But it was a very higher entity than it exists in this current realm.
Potentially, yeah, you can do
But again, it would have been impossible. It's not even halfly done.
And how old is it?
Can I tell how old it is?
Within the last 5 years.
Oh, if I had to say, around maybe 4 to 5 years. If it were older, I'm pretty sure this whole place would be rotten by now. Something would have fallen or gave in. It would have simmered then over this land, slowly but surely, burning everything.
Well, according to the locals, it's only been active for the past couple of days.
They got lucky. Well, since we know what it is, what should we do about it?
Well,
Because
I don't know much about magic, but
Verti,
and B
yes.
got more mental space.
Sorry, it wasn't meant for him, actually.
you have a candle I'd like to see for a bit.
Got any what could be handy?
The therapist pulls it out and
Can I
looks
take
at it
Can
and
I take the
holds it
candle?
out. If you light that, you're in a world of trouble. Unless you want to use it to summon Brickens, in which case, go ahead.
In my opinion,
The best way to handle an incomplete circle is complete it and tear it down.
the thing with guiding bolt is
Without it, evil will probably remain.
Well, he is not
if you're
wrong.
trying, if you're using it, it's usually because you can sometimes.
But we
It-
might accidentally summon what they were trying to
A lot of
summon.
times I've seen guiding
So we'll
bolts,
stab it until it stops moving,
it's kind of wasted.
and then we'll stab it some more for good measure.
So, it's not
I feel like Vark
Preferably
is just
when the
imagining
group
Brickens while he's
lady
saying that.
isn't present.
It could be 3 people, you and some others.
If Brickens appears, I'm gonna make a sausage kebab.
The therapist is going to frown slightly. Oh, well, I am no expert, and he's going to give a big side eye at Hannah on how to deal with magic. But if this thing is suddenly active, it would be best to do something about it. But I'm also concerned that someone may have activated it.
Yeah, at first level.
Verti, you speak demon stuff, right?
So do I.
Well, I speak Infernal.
How would one say some
Sorry, the guiding bolt.
Something like what?
"Oh great old one, I summon thee"?
Kind of.
Can you be any more cliche?
Just testing it. I mean, we don't know what the password
You had
is to this.
summoned me with such
You can see more payoff than
idiotic
summoned-
word, I would have burned you to a crisp on the spot.
I summoned you without even trying. That's how easy it was.
The
Well,
therapist is
yes,
going to look
but
at
then I made it
Hannibal.
easy for you.
And remember, so the little symbols above the
If we use his words, how likely are we to find ourselves facing something we really, really do not need unleashed on this town?
So really,
Do I have an answer for him?
What, if you complete the summoning circle and decide to try and summon something? Yeah, it's fairly likely it'll come.
Well, I would assume around 80% chance of we having to fight something.
That's good. Let's do it.
A fight I can deal with, leveling the town, not so much.
Well, we could. Before I say this, could we perhaps move it in some way, or is it completely stuck? Could we finish the ritual somewhere?
Could we bring it back to the basement?
Oh, that's not a bad. That's a very bad idea.
Hey, there's also
Hang
already...
about. I have an
there-
idea. There's a spell that I have, Magic Circle. I can create a 10-foot radius, 20-foot tall cylinder of magical energy centered on a point on the ground that I can see within 10 feet. And if I were to choose, if for fiends, for example, a creature inside that is a fiend can't willingly exit the cylinder by non-magical means, and if it tries to use teleportation, it has to it won't be able to do that very easily. It's. I feel like this could work quite well if we
Yes,
just complete it there.
That usually only works if you have enough power to stop the deity. Do you have enough power to stop a deity? Or a evil demon?
You assume it's going to be a deity. It's just any fiend will have issue if they are there. It does not matter
You do know if
how strong it is.
whatever comes from there, it's going to try and attack you first.
Yes, and I will be outside of that 10-foot radius, so I think I'll be perfectly fine.
It's your funeral.
Okay.
DM. Can Hannibal finish the circle?
If you want to take time for all those up,
You'd have to guess. You'd have to sort of look at where the lines were, join them up, and there's a couple of runes that look like they're missing. So you'd have to have an educated guess at what they might be. But you could attempt it.
Okay, what is it
I-
written on? Is it blood? Is it charcoal? Is it some kind of ink?
It looks like it was carved into the earth using a rock or a stick, and then the magic is making it glow red. So the red is just like light. It's like it's been like, yeah, a stick has been dragged through the earth to make all the like the circle and the letters and everything and the shapes, but then it's been lit up with magic.
Okay. Hannibal will walk to the circle and analyze it. She's gonna frown and mutter, how primitive, under her breath. She extends one of her fingers, and the nail just pretty much becomes like the whole finger.
Ugh.
And she kneels down and she starts carving into the ground.
All right.
Ragnar's going to raise his hand to get people's attention. My allies, for me to be able to cast the spell that I was speaking of, I do need about 100 gold pieces worth of silver, iron, and holy water.
Only 2 tabs you should ever need are the chat tab and the journal tab.
Vithera frowns for a bit,
Those other ones not really needed.
reaches around, pulls out his water bottle, and starts blessing it.
Then you look at adding switching spells out.
He has to think really hard to remember how to do it.
Annabelle's gonna stop for a moment and stare back. Ariza, I would recommend you stay very far away from what's about to happen. If anything happens, this is a travesty of a circle.
Any chance you could hook us up with some silver or iron, Hannibal?
Yes, I can. And with that, Varric pulls out a deck of cards.
No,
Specific.
you don't need to take out the cards. I can give you the money.
Oh, yes, I have an easy solution. And he pulls off the silver box and hands it to Ragnar. Then he wraps the cards back up and stuffs them back in his armor.
Oh, he actually didn't use the cards. Shocking.
She sounds like she's being sarcastic, but she's not.
Hey, the day is not over yet.
Oh god.
Alrighty,
Annabelle
so
goes back to carving the ground.
Ragnar, you've got a higgledy-piggledy version, but you've got all the components you need for this spell.
If it works. The duration for it is 1 hour as well.
Alrighty.
And basically, yeah, the creature can't willingly exit the cylinder by non-magical means. It has disadvantage on all attack rolls against targets. It would be outside of the cylinder because you can cast it in reverse in the reverse direction. And it's confusing.
Okay.
It's confusingly worded.
No, it's okay. I know which one you mean. So are you and everyone else going to stand 10 feet away, and then you're going to cast it on the middle point?
That's the plan.
Okay.
Unless people want to rebel.
Alright, so you guys, are you going to stand 10 feet away from the centre point?
Yep, Vithera will do exactly as he's told.
If you go to journal,
Yep.
and back to where it's characters.
Yes, Hannibal, as you're doing this, you notice some of the triangles are like slightly lopsided and things. It looks like it was a fairly rushed job. If you had to guess, maybe a beginner, or maybe someone who was enthusiastic but not accurate yet. But yeah, so Hannibal finishes. A kid? No. Well, I mean, who knows? So Varric, are you getting outside the 10 foot as well?
You can select him and press backface.
Yes, marvellous. So, yeah, you guys are standing outside. Ragnar, you cast a spell just after Hannibal finishes adding all the different shapes on that you think roughly might be what they were going for, given like the small scratches in the earth and where everything else was headed. So you complete it, and it sputters more and louder, and you'll hear it sort of partly because it's very old, it's been rushed and clammed together, and then you hear a low sort of whistle, and the red inside all the runes turns to bright orange. Hannibal steps back. You all come out of the 10 feet. Ragnar casts his spell. And because people need to go to bed, I will end it after you see what happens, which is that
No, it's gonna be the whole October without knowing what
for-
the hell is happening.
for a few. Oh no, you'll see it. For a few sort of trembling moments, Ragnar holds up his hands and keeps the spell going. You see the big sort of dome shape come out, and you're not too far off, Varric. And as
Oh god.
as the as the sort of glowing now orange and yellow lights inside all these runes start to glow and sputter, you recognise that this isn't a very well done spell for the most part, and in the summoning rituals you've seen before, you get a sort of roar of flame and something appears, but this one it's more sort of like a flickering, stuttering. It is kind of like lips. And then you suddenly hear a very rough, rumbling, deep, demonic and before you, appearing in the middle of the circle, stands a giant, blackened, ashy, red-eyed goose.
Oh,
Oh fuck!
Oh Christ.
Ragnar's getting like flashbacks.
it's a chef's goose. Uh-oh. Oh,
Varric's
dear.
gonna go. Think of all the meat on that.
The therapist is just going to lean over to Varric and go, "Remember the swans."
Oh yeah, they changed your arm and shit. Maybe we should. Ooh, I have a
Kill it with
plan.
fire.
Ooh, I have
Only
a
fire will
plan.
only feed them.
Okay, now on that note, I will leave you guys staring into the red, ravenous eyes of this huge demonic goose. I would say that's a sentence I never thought I'd say, but no, it's not.
To be fair, most of my life has led towards hearing.
So to be fair, yeah, most of my life is now headed towards this moment. I am aware that a couple of you do need to go to bed, so I will leave it at that point because, well, why not? So if everyone would like to shout either Tatty Bear or Quack like a goose at the recording, then I will press the stop button. So Tatty Bear / Quack. Tatty Bear.
Daddy bear.
Tatty bear.